Let's read the announcement. Over a month into the U.S. Israel air campaign that began February 28, 2026, Trump said Iran agreed never to pursue nuclear weapons, allowing U.S. forces to withdraw within weeks. The intense strikes, including nearly 900 in the first 12 hours on nuclear sites and infrastructure, caused severe damage like to the Kol-Ondab reactor. Though the IAEA notes underground facilities and uranium stockpiles persist, Iran's Strait of Hormuz blockade has spiked global oil prices 70%, sparking energy shortages in Europe. Trump urges allies to secure the strait themselves amid disputed casualties of 1,900 to 3,500 Iranian deaths, 13 to 15 U.S. losses. Okay, White House, 13 hours ago. All of those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you, President Donald J. Trump. Okay, all those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, the United Kingdom, which refuses to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the US. Plenty. Number two, build up some delayed courage. Go to the strait and just take it. That's not how the strait works. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. It sounds like he wants to back out of NATO. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil. President Donald J. Trump. Oh, he's such it's such a wild ride. Like, is he gonna do a land invasion? Isn't he gonna do a land invasion? Is he gonna back out in a week? Isn't he gonna back out in a week? But he's like he's telling other countries that just go take the Strait of Hormuz. It it's not that simple. Like, complex system, and as long as they can have small watercraft, they will make the insurance for the Strait of Hormuz so expensive that no one will go through. Like, can't just decapitate the country's leadership and open the strait, or you would have been able to open the strait already. The level of commitment you need to do to prevent them from closing the strait is significant. I mean, like, ideally, he is talking to the Iranians, and there is a peace deal where the Strait of Hormuz can be opened, and they agree not to have nukes. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I don't know where they're going to go with this one.
Many Americans.
Day one, the mission was crystal clear. This was the final best chance to wipe out Iran's threat for good, so they could never have a nuclear weapon.
Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now? Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero.
Let me check something. Before the war in Iran, what was their level of nuclear enrichment? And how do we know that that was their level of nuclear enrichment? Because from what I understand, for civilian like nuclear power plant use, you only need like a 3% enrichment or something. And there were multiple reports of them being significantly over that level. Just straight up reports that like they're trying to build a nuclear weapon. IAEA. IA. What does that stand for? The International Atomic Energy Agency. The IAEA is the World Center for Cooperation in the Nuclear Field, promoting the safe, secure, and peaceful use of nuclear technology. All right, let's see. Before the wars involving Iran, the June 2025 12-day war with Israel, Iran's Ukrainian enrichment program had reached a highest verified level of up to 60% U-235. This is near weapons grade. Weapons grade is typically 90% U-235. Though Iran was not producing bulk quantities at 90% or higher. Key verified figures. Total enriched uranium stockpile. Okay. Breakdown of the portions. So they had 440 kilograms enriched to 60%. The smaller earlier stockpile. These figures come directly from the IAE, International Atomic Energy Agency. Last pre-strike verification data. Iran has been enriching to 60% since 2021. Okay. How do we know this was their level? The International Atomic Agency. Okay, yeah, we read that. Non-destructive array measurements and sampling of uranium. Surveillance camera seals and for evidence measured. So was Iran trying to build a nuclear weapon? We'll think on that one for a while. No, according to the most authoritative public assessments from the IAEA and the US intelligence community, right up to the eve of the June 2025 strikes, Iran was not actively building a weapon or pursuing a structured ongoing weaponization program at that time. Iran had made significant progress in the enrichment part of the nuclear fuel cycle, stockpiling enough near weapons grade uranium for roughly 7 to 10 potential weapons if further enriched to 90%. But enrichment alone does not equal a bomb. Weaponization involves additional complex detectable steps that the IAEA and US assessment states were not underway in a coordinated, active manner. Kind of like Iraq, there isn't going to be a nuclear weapon there. Weapons of mass destruction. Breakout capacity. By mid 2025, Iran's stockpile and such a fusion structure meant it could produce enough weapons-grade uranium for one or more bombs in a matter of weeks if it chose to break out and dash for it, far shorter than under the 2015 JCPOA. This threshold status created a latent capacity that worried Israel and others. So they didn't have a program, but they had put themselves in a place where they could push for a bomb in weeks if they were trying to. Noncompliance and opacity. Iran's repeated failures to fully explain past undeclared sites. Sanitization of locations. Restrictions on International Atomic Energy Agency access. Eroded trust. The 60% enrichment had no plausible civilian justification at that scale. Intent signals, public statements from some Iran officials, erosion of internal taboos on nuclear weapons, program underground/fortified nature fueled suspicion of hedging or future intent. In summary, Iran maintained a sophisticated enrichment program that gave it a short pathway to fissile material and preserved knowledge from past weaponization research. But the consensus from the International Atomic Agency Energy Agency. The consensus from the International Atomic Energy Agency and the U.S. intelligence before the 2025 strike that it had not restarted an active structured nuclear weapons program. Israel assessed the threat as more imminent and acted accordingly. Post-strike damage assessments vary. Some U.S. reports suggest only months-long setbacks to enrichment, with stockpiles possibly relocated, and access limitations since then have reduced visibility. Naturally, or you're going to have reduced visibility on what they're doing. This remains a highly contentious issue with intelligence gaps on both sides. Different actors weighed the same data differently based on threat perception and risk tolerance. You want detail on specific reports, timeline, and post-data strikes. We don't want to go too much more detail. So they didn't have a nuclear weapons program, but there was no civilian use, 60% enrichment. They had kept data on past attempts to preserve knowledge from past weaponization research. And they were in a place where they could build a bomb within weeks. I mean, that's a hard one. That's a hard problem to solve. And so that's why they did their initial hit. Now they're in a war. I was listening to him talk. Started again, only 9 seconds.
Many Americans are asking.
Oh, my headset's turned itself off. Too long without noise.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now? Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt. If what they truly wanted, which is what they claim, is nuclear energy, well, they could have nuclear energy like all the other countries in the world.
So the 60% enrichment is really that's just concerning. There's no civilian use for that.
World have it, and that is you import the fuel and you build reactors above ground. That's not what Iran has done. They build their reactors and their facilities deep in mountains, away from the public glare, and they want to enrich that material. The same equipment that they could use to enrich material for energy, they could use to quickly enrich it to weapons grade. So it is clear that they've been.
So that's the breakout capacity, where within weeks of attempting to get a nuke, they would be able to get a nuke if left alone.
Offered every opportunity to have a nuclear program that allows them to have energy, not weapons, and every single time they have turned it down. But why the attack now? Well, what was Iran trying to do? Iran was trying to build a conventional shield, in essence, have so many missiles, have so many drones that no one could attack them, and they were well on their way. We were on the verge.
I mean, like, having so many missiles and drones lets you pressure, in this case, the oil market and the energy market. So they had, they're already doing damage. If they had more, they'd be able to do more damage.
Of an Iran that had so many missiles and so many drones that no one could do anything about their nuclear weapons program in the future. That was an intolerable risk. Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics with an apocalyptic vision of the future ever possess nuclear weapons. And under no circumstances can they be allowed to hide and protect that program and their ambitions behind a shield of missiles and drones that no one can do anything about. This was
So far, I agree with everything he's saying.
our last best chance to eliminate that conventional threat, that conventional shield that they were trying to build. And the president made the right decision to wipe it out now. That is the goal of this operation, to destroy their conventional missiles and their drone program so they can't hide behind it and finally have to deal with the world seriously about never, ever having nuclear weapons.
I mean, I largely agreed with that. Like that matches all the information we just read. Breaking. We're gonna see what he says. This is some kind of representative of Iran. I'm not gonna read it. I'm gonna listen.
بسم الله قاسم الجبارین. با توجه به شرارت‌ها و اقدامات تروریستی دشمنان آمریکایی صهیونیستی و هدف قرار دادن منازل مسکونی مردم ایران در شهرهای مختلف، نیروهای مسلح جمهوری اسلامی ایران در اقدامی تلافی جویانه محل سکونت فرماندهان و مسئولان سیاسی آمریکا و رژیم صهیونیستی در منطقه و سرزمین‌های اشغالی را هدف قرار خواهند داد و من نصر الا من عند الله العزیز الحکیم. بسم الله قاسم الجبارین. با توجه
Isn't that what like they're already doing? I was under the impression they're already pretty indiscriminately targeting everyone around them. If you're a commander, you've got your residents in the area, I would have evacuated that a long time ago. Like some kind of peace deal that involves them not having nukes. The opening of Strait of Hormuz would be ideal. I just don't see that happening. Not in the short term. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Never forget how Easter Bunny had to hold Joe Biden away from the kids during the Easter egg hunt at the White House. Okay. Breaking, the White House just posted a 7-second video with garbled audio that users are reversing to reveal. Exciting announcement tomorrow has to be the strangest and most elaborate presidential announcement ever. What? Okay. What's this one? Breaking. The White House said they will make the Gulf states pay for the war on Iran. I told you on day one that this.
Pay for the vast majority of the cost of the war. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE. Who's paying for the cost of this war? Will those Arab countries step up to do just that?
Well, I think it's something the president would be quite interested in calling them to do. I won't get ahead of him on that, but certainly it's an idea that I know that he has and something that I think you'll hear more from him on.
And then secondly, the cost of pay for the vast majority of the cost of the war.
I mean, that's just a short clip. Caroline Leavitt's photo mysteriously scrubbed from the internet after White House didn't like it. An unflattering image of Caroline Leavitt just disappeared from major photo libraries right after agencies were reportedly told it wasn't appreciated. And so I'm guessing this is why it was trending, this announcement. Build up some delayed courage, go to the street, and just take it. How's that been working for you? We might see the next stage of that. I'm gonna say that's probably why the White House was trending.